You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today, Penguin, episode 4.
Let's get to it, Michael.
Also
Come
known
on.
as, I believe, Katani is how you pronounce it, as she toasts away towards the end of the episode. And wow, best episode yet.
This is so
100%.
episode is so good.
This episode is not only so good in
So
relation to
good.
Penguin, it is
just objectively
amazing
Yeah.
episode. Wow. And I mean,
It's up there in terms of best episodes I've seen.
it's a well done quality episode, entertaining, attractive. It's, keeps you guessing.
You're on the edge of your seat your whole time because of the injustice,
Absolutely.
you've seen their character evolve.
Absolutely. And
It's written so well.
It's written so well. And this episode revolves all around Sofia Falcone and her character. And what a character.
I feel so bad for her, man.
And she officially, it's
so
confirmed she's
bad.
not the Hangman Killer.
Yeah.
Carmine, her dad,
Yeah.
is the Hangman Killer.
I never
She is
had
not.
that many suspicions, though, going into the show that she wouldn't be.
I know. I mean, but compared to the first 3 episodes, she had a little bit of a crazy factor to her.
I know.
We thought
She was terrifying.
But then again, I mean, it was because of her experience and spending 10 years
Yeah,
in that
changed.
asylum. It completely
getting
changed her brain
tortured,
chemistry.
man.
So yeah,
Oh
if
my
she didn't have
goodness.
mental health issues going in, she definitely did coming out.
She was just a normal person
She was.
before going in. She was sweet
Shout out
and kind.
to the actress who plays Sofia Falcone, because
she was phenomenal.
like the first part of the episode when you see her younger and
Mm-hmm.
she's doing these speeches and Oz is her driver and this stuff, she's a completely different person than
Yeah.
what she becomes and what she has been in later episodes. And I could tell that like her whole even her face looked different.
Yeah.
Because she's so good,
her
so talented.
eyes and the smile,
Yes.
it changes.
It changed. Like it
Crazy.
goes from, being this innocent, sweet girl who wants to, take over for her dad to being
Yeah.
this, hell-bent person destroyed in an asylum. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
I know, and I think one of the cool parts about the episode, obviously it didn't sugarcoat anything, but it was super realistic in the sense that you think to yourself, if I was betrayed and put in this exact same position, like what would I look like coming out?
Right.
know?
Right. I mean,
You
it's-
pity her,
Yeah.
You find yourself rooting for her as the episode goes on.
Absolutely.
You're like, I hate Penguin. There's nothing good about him.
No. Right. I mean, you really do feel for her. Like she becomes almost the hero of this story when we originally thought she was the
I
antagonist.
know, that's so cool that they just flip it.
It is cool.
Like that,
it's really, really cool because, and that's one thing I love is them showing and displaying Penguin is not good. And that's one, like earlier I was like, oh,
Yeah.
don't make him good. I was glad. I'm glad that they're not
Yeah.
making this anti-hero. Instead, they're showing him as a
Which I
villain.
think is like really crazy to see in real time, because at the end of episode 3, that's when you're like, oh, Penguin is good. He said
Yeah,
he would let Victor
right,
go. He
right.
cares about him. And then this episode, you see how quickly he disregarded her,
Yep.
betrayed her just so he could take another step up the ladder.
And yes, I mean, Vic went up in his mind, but literally all he cares about is himself.
Yeah.
That is it. He does not care about anyone else except for maybe the sight of his mother, which his mother's going to die at some point in this show.
Well, she's
So-
just as selfish,
Oh, absolutely, and that's how he got it and was raised into. So it's such a well done episode. Just seeing the story of Sofia Falcone in this detail, and I didn't think we were going to get this much detail. I thought maybe we'd get hints in there or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that they went all in, giving us her backstory in such a phenomenal way, is amazing to
And
me.
I think it can be kind of risky sometimes too.
It can be,
maybe
absolutely.
the execs are like, you're telling me we have Colin Farrell as a Penguin, and you want to have him in like just a couple shots,
Just a couple
for an
shots of this
hour-long episode,
right?
Halfway through the
Exactly,
season.
and it takes place all in the past. Are
I know,
you kidding me?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I feel like, at least upon initial presentation, it seems very risky to do something like this. But apparently, I saw that this episode had the highest number of viewers.
Oh,
like
by
they
far,
had
I'm
like
sure.
1.7 million. Like
Right.
the first day, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Breaking records.
It is, and it well deserved because it's not only
good.
it was so well written. I mean, the cinematography was beautiful. The story was incredible. The acting was. I mean, her acting in that episode is Emmy worthy.
It's
Regardless,
so good.
like
man.
that's an Emmy
It's so good.
award winning performance right there for that show because it's just such an amazing event. So I'll give you some insight about this episode instead of just we kind of already gave a little bit of basis what the episode
Yeah.
was about,
We're
but to
glazing.
kind of give you some insight of what all went on in this episode. So obviously we see the downfall of Sofia Falcone. She's this fun-loving girl, speaking about mental health and her mom being one case where
Yeah.
she supposedly committed suicide at a young
Yeah.
age when she was 8 years old.
And that's why her and her father started the foundation,
Exactly.
right, to help out women with mental health.
Right. And, good moments. She's going around speaking. Oz is her car drive, is her chauffeur, driving her around to these different places. And, she shows kindness to Oz. She's kind to him.
Yeah.
She has a soft spot for him, even though he's on the low end at this point in time. But he's still thinking about how he can get to the next level. He's not thinking, he doesn't care about her.
Yeah.
He's just thinking about how can I be in Carmine Falcone's good sense.
Yeah.
And that's why he tells him about the reporter and all that, which was just incredible. And then also speaking of, Carmine Falcone was recasted for this show, compared to in the original, the Batman movie. He was played by, I forget. He's in Transformers. I forget his name. He's a pretty big guy.
This guy was John something, Turturro, something like that. I think he's in, what's that show called? Severance. I think
Severance,
on Apple TV.
okay.
I thought the recast was pulled off really well.
It was. I mean,
They
I
do
didn't.
look
I didn't
similar.
even really notice until I was looking. I was like, "That's not Carmine Falcone." John Turturro was the original. Carmine
the original,
Falcone
and then this
in
one
the Batman,
was-
and this
okay,
one
yeah.
was the recast. And they did that because of scheduling conflicts, not because whatever. But scheduling conflicts for Turturro, so they had a new Carmine Falcone. And they played it off really well, like the relationship between him and Sofia, because he was kind of playing into Sofia. He was almost trying to mold her into becoming like the next him. But when she go
but
ahead.
she always seemed different too,
Right.
She didn't seem as evil
She seemed
as
good,
everyone else.
right?
I know,
She's-
which is confusing. I feel like because later he says like, "I want you to take my place."
Right. I mean, maybe in her mind, she's thinking, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to take your place. And maybe she could turn around to be good. I mean, and maybe in her mind, he's just a nightclub owner and that's it, and maybe, maybe she does know about his,
I
drugs
think she
and
knows for
empire
sure.
and
I'm
all
pretty
that.
sure.
Probably does. But even then, she seems good and wanting to take over. And she's like, yes, absolutely. Over Alberto, her brother.
Yeah.
But then you can see like how, again, he's very selfish as well. Carmine, in
Yeah.
the sense that as soon as he hears about her betraying him, he's like, I'm going to play this off to where she's the one, that killed all these people that I killed. And like,
Who frames their daughter?
Like, exactly.
For
like,
your
who
murders?
frames your own daughter just because she's starting to get a little suspicious of you?
Yeah.
Like, you could have been honest with her and be like, yes, I did this, but for us. And yes, she might not have accepted it, but it's still your daughter.
Yeah.
You don't just cast her off and, frame her for multiple murders.
So evil, man.
And then get her kicked into Arkham for 10 plus years. That's crazy.
Just to mess her up, yeah. And it all started right with Summer Gleason, who approached her at the foundation and said, "Well, look at these pictures, with all these, hangings, these marks look more like manual strangulation, implying that either her or someone else is, physically killing these girls, these women, and then staging the bodies,
staging the suicide,
So you see the wheels start turning, and then the flashback scenes we get, with her and how she found her mom, were really eye opening too as well. But yeah, one part I really love was seeing that relationship though with her brother, Alberto, because as we see in the beginning, he's a drug addict. He's a bum. He's a loser. But the way he's portraying this episode, that those things are true. But he was the only one that cared about her.
Yeah,
he's the one that
genuinely
believed
cared.
her that she didn't do all this stuff.
When the rest of her family wrote her off, the uncles and cousins,
and it makes you side so much harder with her too, knowing what happens with him and Penguin and how Penguin lies to her.
Yeah.
But no, it was good to see him kind of in that better light.
It was.
I
agree. And I mean, I really think the scenes we got, and whenever they officially, take her away and put her in and say, you're going to have to spend 6 months, then it becomes longer in Arkham Asylum. I really do think like the scenes we got in Arkham are some of the best I've ever seen of Arkham.
They look so good.
Because, I mean, the way that we always knew that Arkham was a corrupt body.
Yeah.
Right. We know that Arkham is not the best place for rehabilitation.
To put it mildly.
To put it very mildly. And she goes to this place, and these doctors are trying to almost gaslight her into thinking she is insane.
I know.
And who does that?
Well, they're all being paid by her father. They're all on the payroll, especially the top guy. What's his name?
Ventress, who in the comics is known as Mirror Man. So
okay,
he is the comics
I did
as
not
well.
know that.
Yes, so Dr. Ventress, and he's just trying to play into her mind. They're doing electric shock therapy. They're having her purposely be abused by other inmates and all of this.
They let that one girl free just so she can beat the crap out of her. They let a
crazy freak free just to beat her crap. And then they test her reaction later of wanting Sophia to hurt her, but they didn't. And then the insane person killed themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
whoa.
So the whole time with that deal, they were just trying to make her kill this other girl
Yep,
so they
exactly.
could
So
further
they can
push their point.
Exactly.
She's a
show that
murderer.
She's insane. She's a murderer.
Yeah,
She's a killer.
She doesn't deserve a case.
And then eventually, when she does commit that, they're
Yeah.
like, "We got her." And that's just like, it's brutal, man. It's just wow.
And that was with Magpie, right?
Yes, Magpie was her not roommate, but next door.
Yeah.
Was the person next door. And
Neighbor.
At first, when I was here, she was like, "Hello." I was freaked out. I was like, "Who is this?"
I know, bro.
But it revealed to be Magpie, which Magpie is in the comics. She's
Okay.
a minor character, but still
Yeah.
cool nonetheless that there is a comic character that they're using. And she was crazy. At first, I was like Harley Quinn. And they
Dude,
said
she
Magpie.
killed her role in this one.
She was so
She was
good.
terrifying.
Actually, she was terrifying.
She was good.
For no reason. She
Yeah.
was just like, "You want to be friends?
So no.
We could celebrate holidays and birthdays." And she just crazy. Her teeth's corroded. And I'm
I
just
know,
like, ah!
man. She was terrifying.
She was.
I loved her role, and then later we find out that she was being paid with the drugs, right? That we see
Yep,
later
with the
to
intent
spy on her,
to
collect
spy and
information.
to essentially show, like, if you be good and you admit that you did it, you can get the drugs too. And then she was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh my
And
goodness.
then this led to Sophia finally giving in and murdering Magpie.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. Just finally is like, "I'm over it."
She just snaps.
She snaps.
and who's to say that
understandably
anyone
so.
else wouldn't do that? You know,
Absolutely. And this is just after 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
6 months of torture, 6 months of seclusion, isolation.
her family betraying her.
Absolutely, except for Alberto. And when Alberto finally comes, he says that you're not getting a trial. I mean, that breaks a person.
I know,
And
man.
it broke her in half.
That scene was so good,
Oh, it
man.
was such a good scene, man.
Because that was the first visitor she'd had in 6 months, right?
6 months.
Because they give her isolation. First of
Right.
all, that's torture in and of itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Sitting in, dude, like you said earlier, the scenes we've seen of Arkham, it is so depressing, man.
I
These
know.
little boxes that they put these humans
Like,
in, bro.
but not only that,
it's
but like
terrible.
that's depressing on a whole nother ring. But 6 months without seeing anybody you
I
love,
know, dude.
like that's insane. And being in those
Yeah.
environments, like what that I mean, a week alone is terrible.
Yeah.
But 6 whole months.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just unimaginable.
And I think it speaks a lot to Alberto's character, because the show kind of emphasizes that he's lazy, he's a bum, but he's doing all this work with the lawyer to try to get her out.
Yeah.
It shows that she was a thing he
Yeah.
really cared
even
about.
though even though he was a drug addict and consumed in alcohol all the time, he did care for his sister. I mean,
Yeah.
she always got him out of when he was in a bind, but still he cared for her about that.
Yeah.
They grew up together, and we see that later when she's talking about they used to play in the greenhouse when they were kids,
Oh.
and it's just that emotional factor. And then especially, so it goes off to see now she's gotten out of Arkham, and as soon as she's out, the only person that ever cared about her seemingly
Yeah.
is murdered.
Mm-hmm.
It just plays
I
into
know.
that.
You're like, I hate Penguin,
I
man.
know.
He's terrible,
He
dude.
is, he is.
It makes you think kind of with the whole thing, throughout the show, they had hints about what had happened, and Penguin has always been on the record saying, I didn't know what Carmine was going to do to you. I didn't know what.
Yeah.
I believe him on that sense, at the time, he's just a driver. I don't think
right.
there's any way Carmine would have told him his plans, right? For his daughter, for Sophia.
Right.
Maybe Penguin had a suspicion of what she'd go through. Maybe he just imagined that she'd be shipped away or she'd be killed, but what
Right.
she endured was worse
yeah.
than that.
Yeah, he did not mean necessarily for all of that to happen, but he was also trying to secure his spot as as kind of upgrade himself, give him another couple brownie points in the eyes of Carmine Falcone instead of and like she told him, she's like, I hope you're happy now because now he sees you and all the people you love. So like that kind of plays into the fact that like he's controlling, he has control of everybody, and now he has even more control of you, which was really cool concept.
I know, yeah. But man, that was sad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was.
Poor
It was.
Sophia, dude.
Poor Sophia.
Poor Sophia,
And
man.
then at the end, it comes
rips you
back
apart.
to the present, and she comes into this amazing dinner party sequence. Very serious in tone. She just comes in, sits down, everybody's quiet, and she's just like, continue. I just wanted to come. It's my family too. And then she interrupts the dude. I thought that was so funny.
He
She
just sits
like,
down.
and she's like, I have something to say. It was
Never
awesome.
been one for speeches. Gives a
But
speech.
I'm going to talk. It just cuts him off. It was funny.
Dude, the way she commanded that scene and that dinner party was crazy.
And the fact that everybody was in kind of a darker tone of colors, and she comes in this like green, lime green dress as well. Kind of really plays into the color scheme. I don't know, it may have been yellow. I can't remember, but it was a bright dress nonetheless compared to their darker evening wear. So she coming in and she absolutely takes over the scene. She's the center of attention, absolutely, and they emphasize that she comes in. None of them want her there, but she's there and she's there to stay.
Yeah, and
they don't realize that.
And she starts, so very soft and just kind of emotionless, just kind of talking.
Absolutely.
And as the speech kind of progresses, she gets more and more animated and. Dude, she killed that, man.
Oh, she killed it.
So good.
She killed it. I mean, it was just such a good scene. She's calling him out. She's saying, "Y'all betrayed me, and I did nothing wrong."
She's like, "All of you guys wrote letters saying I was mentally ill.
Yep.
And all you guys wanted me to rot in there."
Right. And I love the line that, like, I can't remember the exact line, but it was something along the lines that she said, "Y'all have all done something wrong." To where I'm innocent.
Yeah.
Y'all are the guilty ones. Your all's body counts are higher than mine could ever be.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
As she goes and she saves the little girl in the greenhouse, and then she kills everybody else.
I know, bro. It turns on the gas.
Yeah. Turns on the gas them out except for one.
The whole time I was waiting, because obviously you knew that she was going to kill him.
Oh, I knew it.
You know, she's planning revenge for 10 years.
Right.
And so I was wondering the whole time. I thought, she was going to have some dudes with guns running.
See, that's what I thought. I thought they were just going to maul them all down there and save the girl.
But then when she walks out, I was very confused.
Mm-hmm.
But when she got the girl, my wife was like, "Oh, she's going to burn the place down." I was like, "Yeah, she might."
Yeah. But instead, she kills everybody except for one, except for like the main leader now,
Johnny Vitti.
Yep, and she's gonna make something happen with him.
Yeah,
gonna kill him eventually.
Which is crazy how she had that window open, just waiting for him.
Yeah, she had the perfect opportunity, the perfect scale, and she executed it really well.
And that scene, where she's dancing through the house and checking on the bodies, and the happy music is playing in the background, and she's in that bright dress like we were saying earlier.
Right.
It's just so cool.
It's the showing of a broken person who's getting not necessarily what they want, but what they've been made to do is exactly what was happening. And it's unfortunate to see, a good person, at least at the beginning, turn into this, tortured monster. Like she said to the little girl, she's like, "I was taken away to a place with monsters and I was left there." And she's like, "I'm not going to let that happen to you."
So
it's
sad,
just such a good scene.
I know. It broke me when she was talking with Alberto right before she went away. She's like, "I'm not going to survive.
Right.
I'm not made for this."
Right.
Oh, man.
But they made her made for it. And that's the brutal part.
It just, the corruptness just eats away at your inside, man.
Absolutely.
That's what really keeps you.
It's definitely captivating for sure.
It just, we know what what injustice is and justice is, and just watching it, your skin is crawling.
Yeah, and also in this scene, I'm also thinking like, I would love for Zoe Kravitz's Selena Kyle to make an appearance this episode because she's technically half sisters with Sofia Falcone.
Wow.
So I think it'd be really cool because I feel like they could be, have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that would help each other out. So I think it'd be cool if she made an appearance. I don't know if she will or not.
That would be cool.
But I think it'd be kind of cool to see Catwoman up there and realize like, your father, raped my mother and now we're both lost because we both have struggled.
Yeah, they're both victims.
They're both victims from their same father.
Yeah,
so it'd be kind of cool to see that concept.
I think so too. Yeah,
I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if their budget's high enough on a show to get Zoe Kravitz, but it'd still be cool nonetheless.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Did this episode ever cover why Carmine killed all those women?
It does not, but it's definitely implied. That, I mean, it's just basically in the sense that he wants what he wants and he gets, so if somebody wrongs him, then he kills them. And it's the same emphasis like in the Batman, he kills all the people that he kills by choking, like Selena Kyle's friend, she chokes her out, and same kind of deal as well. So.
Yeah, I wonder why. I know they mentioned that some of those girls, they're talking about like the 44 something, the 44 Lounge. I was thinking that maybe they all knew something. Possibly. I don't know. But
right.
Yeah, when I heard word that he had murdered the reporter and blamed it on her, that was like
that's crazy.
Oh man.
That's crazy. All of this just to get your daughter locked up in Arkham. Like that's crazy, bro.
Dude. Part of me wonders why he didn't just kill her.
Right.
I don't know.
I guess it's
maybe
a sense,
for her to become the villain,
even
so
though
he looks better.
Right, it's to cover his butt. I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of framed her in a sense to where he wouldn't have to worry about people watching his back now that he's the hangman.
Yeah.
But also maybe a little bit of the fact of he's a little bit human and he still cares for his daughter, but just needs her out of the picture because she's in the way.
Yeah.
But
Cares for her just by
death
torturing her
sounds
for 10
almost
years.
better than that. So I think it's more so
Yeah.
the first option to where he just needed to cover for himself.
Yeah. Makes
Which is
sense.
unfortunate.
Man. Oh my goodness.
He sucks.
Yeah. Is this version of Falcone seems a lot more just like
Dark
dark and hands-on and
yeah.
gritty, than the
than
previous
typical
versions we've seen,
right?
But
I don't
I
mind
like
it.
it.
It's
Yeah.
a good take. It's a good
Yeah.
take. I agree. But
So-
man, the Penguin, dude, it's just I'm so excited to see where it goes from here with Penguin's story, Vic, what goes on in that capacity, Sophia Falcone, what's she gonna do for revenge?
Yeah.
And it's almost like swapped. Before you're cheering for Oz, you're cheering for him to, go after Sophia, but now it's like you want Sophia to come out on top. And it's really interesting to see how that concept will be played in the next coming episodes.
I think that was the whole point of it. Like you said, it's swapping that concept on his head.
Yeah.
Whatever opinion you had of Penguin after episode 3, maybe about him having some shred of good in him, it's clear that he doesn't.
Gone.
That he's that he's that terrible, and Sophia, she still has that ounce of goodness in her too, which was taken away from her, unlike Oz, who kind of just
Right.
became that character. But I was seeing earlier, I think when the episode first dropped, it had like a 9.7
Yeah.
on IMDb, which is
9.7, which is amazing for a live action episode.
That's insane.
That's insane.
And you said now it's dropped to about
It's a
9.5.
but still, regardless,
Dude, that's not
incredible.
many episodes.
No,
I think
no.
at the time it was like top 10 or top 15.
Not many episodes can even reach 9.
I know.
I mean, it's even rare for episodes to reach 8 or above. But 9.5 is amazing.
9.5.
It's amazing.
And,
So
and
super
it's
exciting.
well deserved. So
Absolutely.
Man, keep this up. This show is
Keep
brilliant.
it up,
Brilliant.
please. In the next several episodes, we love it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for listening to this episode. And as always, if you liked it, please let us know by giving us a download and a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. We have a new feature on our episodes. We can send us a text message by following the link at the bottom of our episodes. You can submit your questions for Heroes Q&A there, or just shoot us a DM on Instagram. Be sure to also check out our Instagram stories weekly for a chance to ask questions for our Q&A segments. Also, if you want exclusive access to episodes, which includes movie reviews and other fun ideas, subscribe to our membership, Heroes HQ. And then finally, feel free to also check out our YouTube channel and our Instagram at Heroes in the Moment.
And we want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.